In today's video, I will show you how I solved the Logan machine from HackMyVM and the Brainpan machine from VulnHub. My goal is to continue honing my pivoting skills and learn practice the buffer overflow technique. Setting up the lab was quite straightforward. I connect the two machines together, but I only had direct access to the Logan machine. To gain access to the Brainpan machine and exploit its buffer overflow, I needed to first compromise Logan. I've been learning a lot by solving these kinds of labs, and now I'm contemplating whether I should pursue the eLearnSecurity EJPT version 2 certification or go straight for the ECPPT version 2 certification. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so please let me know in the comment section below. Also, if you'd like to support me financially in pursuing either of these certifications, you can buy me a coffee. The link is in the video description and comment section. Now, let's get started. As always, I began by enumerating ports and service using Nmap with the following options. P scans all ports. Open displays only open ports, excluding closed or filtered ones. Bin rate sends a minimum of 50,000 packets per second to the target, and disables reverse DNS lookup. PN assumes the host is alive. SS performs a scene scan, a stealthy technique that doesn't complete TCP connection. V enables verbose mode for detailed output. For service and version recognition, I use the following option. SC activates the execution of default script to detect vulnerabilities and gather additional information during the scan. SV enables version detection on open ports, allowing us to identify application and their versions. Nmap revealed two open ports. Port 80 indicating a website, which provided the host name that I saved in the host file, and the SMTP service. I started by inspecting the website, but I didn't find anything interesting, so I used wfust to search for subdomains. wfust quickly found the subdomain admin, so I also saved it in the host file. Upon checking the subdomain, I found an administration panel with sections for file upload, clearing logs, and checking all payments. When I saw the file upload section, I thought it may be typical to bypass security and upload a reverse shell, but it didn't work that way. So I tried the payment section and noticed that when I entered an incorrect value in the search field, it displayed file does not exist. Seeing the word file, I thought of local file inclusion. To investigate it further, I used board sweep to inspect the request and discovered the file parameter was being used. After trying several payloads, I managed to read the server's password file. I recalled the SMTP service that Nmap had discovered. So I looked for the logs related to this service. Taking advantage of this, I performed log poisoning to execute remote code and later gain access with a reverse shell by connecting via telnet to this service. Once I gained access to the machine, privilege escalation was surprisingly straightforward. By running sudo l, I found that the user wdata could execute vim as the user Logan. So with that simple command, I gained access as the user Logan. Then I repeated the process executing sudo l and found that the user Logan could execute a Python script as root. This script asks the user to enter a command using the input function, and the entered command is executed using the exec function. However, there's no sanitization, allowing me to execute any command within the script and gain root access, thus completing the Logan machine. But hey, this is in the end. Running the hostname I command, I noticed another active network interface, so I used a small script to discover which hosts were active on the machine. The script found an active host that should be the Brainpan machine, so I performed a quick port scan. Two ports were active, so I used the SheCell tool to communicate it from my machine through the Logan machine to the Brainpan machine. On my machine, I act as the server on port 1234, and on the Logan machine, I act as the client and connected to my IP on port 1234, using SOCKS as remote port forward. To make SOCKS work correctly, I edited the proxychains.conf file and created a SOCKS5 connection to localhost on port 1080, where the connection made by SheCell is listening. With the help of proxychains, I connect to the Brainpan machine to attempt to exploit it. I perform a port scan with Nmap using the following option: ST to perform a TCP scan since only normal TCP connections are possible with the proxy. PN to assume the host is alive. You can use your preferred additional parameters. Nmap only found 2 ports, confirming what I had discovered with my previous script. I checked the website using one of the ports, but there was nothing interesting. So I used burp sweep to find hidden files or directories. Burp sweep found the bind directory, and upon inspecting it, I found an executable file with a .x extension that needs to be exploited using buffer overflow. I downloaded it and used a Windows 7 virtual machine with Immunity Debugger for the buffer overflow exploit. Let's start by creating a Python script that performs the fusing attack. The script will incrementally increase the buffer size until it crashes the program. I'll introduce a 3-second delay between each attempt to avoid overwhelming the server. After identifying the crash point, I used the pattern create and pattern offset tools from Metasploit to create a unique pattern and determine the offset required to override the extended instruction pointer register. Next, I identified bad characters in the payload that could interfere with the exploit. Using Mona in Immunity Debugger, I generated a byte array excluding bad characters should has null bytes. Using Mona again, I searched for a suitable GMP ESP instruction to jump to our payload, ensuring that the address did not contain any of the bad characters. Finally, I used MSF Venom to create a reverse shell payload. The local buffer overflow worked perfectly. However, to gain access to the system, I needed to use the socket tool because the Brainpan machine is only connected to the Logan machine, not directly to mine. This required redirecting the buffer overflow shellcode through the Logan machine to reach my machine. On the Logan machine, I configured socket to redirect everything received on port 4444 to my machine's port 443. Once I gained access to the system, I realized it was a Linux machine running the Brainpan application with Wine. So I created the shellcode again. Inside the system, I executed the sudo l command and saw that I could run a binary as root. This binary uses the man command to display the manual of the given command. By checking gtfubbins, I found that man was misconfigured and vulnerable when executed as root. I took advantage of this vulnerability to gain root access, successfully completing the Brainpan machine on VulnHub. During this lab, I practiced pivoting and buffer overflow techniques, along with identifying vulnerabilities while attempting to gain access to the server and escalate privilege. I hope this information has been helpful, but please keep in mind that these videos are not intended as tutorials. Remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Until next time.